in the league. That don't matter when you standing in front of Caitlin Clark, Tiffany Hayes. I'm sorry. And all that yapping you was doing, that don't help, and that's not going to stop her. If anything, you just going to piss her off, and she really going to destroy you like she did. That's all that was. Don't try to say, oh, it's because of us and no one else. Nah. There is no defense for somebody pulling up from half court. There is no defense for that. There's nothing you could do.
There exists an unwritten commandment at the pinnacle of professional sports, a brutal truth that only the most delusional and self-important defenders dare to disregard. You simply do not, under any circumstances imaginable, antagonize a once-in-a-generation killer. You don't taunt the wolf. You don't smirk at the headsman. Yet, on national broadcast television last evening, Golden State Valkyries veteran guard Tiffany Hayes apparently believed this commandment didn't apply to her. With staggering hubris, she launched a mental and physical battle she had absolutely zero capacity to win. The end result wasn't merely a routine 90-82 loss on the scoreboard. It was the surgical, public removal of her competitive dignity, broadcast for millions to witness. Welcome back to WNBA Pro, where today we're tearing this entire situation wide open to chronicle one of the most savage, satisfying, and mentally crushing one-on-one battles in recent league memory. We're fusing the cinematic fury of a superstar shoved past her breaking point with the cold, mathematical proof of a veteran defender shattering under pressure. If you believed Indiana's win over Golden State was simply about Caitlin Clark dropping 22 points, you completely overlooked the real mind game unfolding on the court. We're going to unpack the precise, lethal error Tiffany Hayes committed, examine the chilling instant Caitlin Clark crossed over to the dark side, and lay bare the breathtaking hypocrisy that poured out of the Golden State post-game podium. Allow me to frame the moment and reveal the defensive negligence Golden State tried to weaponize. Heading into this marquee showdown, Valkyries head coach Natalie Nakase had somehow persuaded herself she'd cracked the riddle of stopping Caitlin Clark. But Golden State's blueprint wasn't built on clever basketball geometry or elite defensive rotations. It was constructed almost entirely on state-sanctioned roughhousing. The plan was painfully obvious. Yank her jersey, BL.
Taking it to the rack here. Tiffany Hayes taking it to the rack on Caitlin Clark. Starts clapping in Caitlin Clark's face. Takes it to the rack on Caitlin Clark. Starts clapping in Caitlin Clark's face. Jaws at her right after. Jaws at her right after. At this point, do you know what Caitlin Clark said?
Somewhere around the 3-minute mark in the opening period, Tiffany Hayes muscled her way to the rim against Caitlin Clark. It was a routine bucket, but rather than calmly retreating on defense like any seasoned pro would, Hayes let her veteran arrogance completely take over. She wheeled around toward Caitlin Clark, invaded her personal space, and started slamming her hands together right in her face. She trash-talked her. She tried to physically and mentally rattle a player who has built her entire life around obliterating the confidence of anyone foolish enough to challenge her on a basketball court. Tiffany Hayes believed she was asserting authority. What she actually did was flip a deadly, irreversible mental switch inside the mind of one of the most lethal scorers the sport has ever seen. As a legendary basketball voice once said, they roused the beast. They awakened a fully unleashed, absolutely terrifying beast. You want a player of Caitlin Clark's caliber to stay calm. You want her relaxed, loose, and operating within the natural rhythm of the offense. The very last thing you want is to awaken the ruthless, Mamba mentality killer hiding inside her. But Tiffany Hayes clapped in her face, and Caitlin Clark saw nothing but red. She entered pure, undeniable demon mode. This stopped being just another regular season contest. It became a personal mission to publicly embarrass Tiffany Hayes. And the payback wasn't just swift, it was a masterclass in mental annihilation.
Not only did Caitlin Clark shoot it over her, she shot it over... Take a look at this. Take a look. She shot it over her and takes like an extra step and a half in Tiffany Hayes' direction to let her know you ain't shit. She takes an extra step and a half, boom, shoots it from the logo, lands, takes a couple extra steps just so Tiffany Hayes can feel her. And let us know, yeah, you ain't shit. Yeah, you ain't shit. Oh yeah, that's right. It's just me and you. Game, game on.
Now, fast forward to the signature possession of the entire matchup. Caitlin Clark dribbles the ball up the court. She finds herself one-on-one against Tiffany Hayes. Clark doesn't call for a screen. She doesn't scan for an outlet. She calmly walks straight onto the logo, a full 33 feet from the basket, and rises up for a massive, heavily contested three-pointer directly in Tiffany Hayes' face. The ball drops cleanly through the bottom of the net. But what followed that shot is what truly shattered Hayes' confidence. Clark didn't simply hit the shot and jog back on defense. She landed, took an extra calculated step toward Tiffany Hayes, and unleashed raw, unfiltered trash talk straight into her soul. She made it crystal clear that she couldn't be guarded. She let her know the clapping had been a massive mistake. She stuck her tongue out. She established complete, paralyzing authority on national television, and the punishment kept coming. Later in the game, Clark once again found Hayes defending her on the perimeter. Clark reached deep into her bag, executed a deadly Kobe-style step-back jumper, and torched Hayes' frantic defense. Possession after possession, trip after trip down the floor, Clark carved her apart in real time. She was systematically dismantling her confidence right before everyone's eyes, but you don't have to take my word for it. Let's look at the cold, unforgiving math behind Tiffany Hayes' collapse. Before committing the fatal mistake of clapping in Caitlin Clark's face, Hayes started the night a perfect 4 for 4 from the field. She looked locked in. She looked confident, but the exact moment Clark buried that logo shot, walked directly into her chest, and started chirping back at her, Tiffany Hayes completely unraveled. She folded like a cheap chair after opening 4 for 4. Hayes shot just 3 of 9 the rest of the night, an ugly 33%. Her offensive game completely devolved into rushed isolation plays and desperate drives to the basket, all in.